the meaning of repeating number patterns, what it means for you, your mind, your life. Hey, I'm Dr. Jane, and this is Coach Kendra.
Hello, everybody. Hey, I don't know about you, but I see a lot of repeating numbers.
Everywhere, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And a lot of people ask, what does this mean? And it freaks them out. But there's really nothing to get freaked out about. First of all, I just want to let everybody know there is a freebie with this in the video description. So just page down in the video description and look for our guide to numbers, and you can print it out. And it just gives you a basic guide to what each of the 1, 2, 3, single digit, and when you see them in succession, what that means. So go ahead and grab that for yourself. It's absolutely free. But, Kendra, we're always on here talking about how to live a happier life with lower stress. And I see these numbers stressing people out, and they really shouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. When I see my number, and I'll tell you what my numbers are in just a moment, it always calms me down, always makes me feel better. And that's the way I choose to see it, I guess. But my number is 22. My birthday is on 22nd. So those are the repeating numbers that I see a lot of. And when I see those numbers, it gives me a sense that I'm heading in the right direction, that I'm in the place that I need to be at that moment. And so it calms me down and makes me feel happy and just content, I guess, is the way I want to word it. But not everybody feels that way when they see numbers.
Not everybody feels that way, especially with specific numbers. If they've been taught through religious belief or whatever, that different successions of numbers mean different things, if certain numbers are evil. I will tell you that if you believe that something has a certain meaning, then in your life, you're absolutely right. That thing does have that meaning in your life. So if you believe that a certain pattern, color, shape, place is evil, then absolutely for you it is. But that can shift.
Yeah, absolutely. And so here's the other thing about repeating numbers is that, you can actually use this as a guide, and that the guide that Dr. Jane was just telling about that she's including with this video is really an important guide for you to be able to, if you are freaking out about numbers, kind of reset how you feel about them. It's an actual user guide to the numbers. And once you see it, you'll know what I mean. But it's just like I see my repeating numbers often throughout my day, actually, and it helps guide me. And what I do is I actually take a moment and feel or think about how that repeating number, or how I feel about it. So there's an opportunity for you too to go within and really assess, how do you see those repeating numbers? What do you feel when those numbers come up? Am I right with that?
Really important to pay attention to how you feel.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, when we talk about mindset and recovery and overcoming traumas from the past, if you have a perceived definition of something, and, maybe this tool that we're giving you today, the numbers guide, will help you to have a different impression of it or redefine it for yourself. You can always do that. You can redefine something for yourself. It happens in our languages. Different words are used in different ways. And so all of a sudden they don't mean their original meaning, or a symbol is used in a different way, and all of a sudden it doesn't mean its original meaning. It has a new meaning just because people have reassigned the meaning of that symbol or the word or whatever. You can do that for yourself. And it's really very important, especially if you see certain numbers and you start to get worried, just know that numbers are signs. They're not, your fortune isn't laid out for you. They're signs and they're symbols. And if you're noticing these things, and some people say, well, I don't ever notice them. Okay, that's not part of your path. If you do notice them, however, instead of freaking out and saying, oh my gosh, what does this mean? What does this mean? I've got to know what this means. Take a breath, be grateful that you are receiving messages, and then proceed at a comfortable pace. Don't rush into anything. Don't go Google a bunch of stuff and get a bajillion different answers from people who, just want to sell you something. Just slowly explore, and that's really what the numbers guide that we're giving you for free is all about, is figuring out kind of the family of thought for each number. So like Kendra's number is 2, that's the number of duality. Sometimes duality means connecting my conscious self with my higher self. Sometimes duality means pairing and collaboration. So it's just really understanding those little nuances. A lot of people will say, I'm seeing 2s everywhere and I don't have a partner. Okay. Are you a good partner to yourself first? Because you really have to be before you can partner with another or collaborate or work with or whatever.
Yeah, that's perfect. And I changed how I thought about 6s just by using this guide.
Yeah.
A lot of us, if we grew up I grew up going to Sunday school and church. And so 666 meant, or if you've seen movies,
Yeah.
sometimes 666 did not mean something very nice. But I have changed how I think about that number, which totally changes how I feel now when I see the number, right? Makes sense. So it really is a choice and how we use this. And as Dr. Jane was saying, be grateful that you are seeing these numbers, that you're in the part of your journey that is allowing you to be able to be conscious enough to see these numbers, and then you can use it to be able to enhance your life instead of using it as something that's going to be stopping you from getting to your goals or living the life the way that you want to.
Yeah, it's a very enlightened time if you're beginning to see them. But what happens is a lot of people begin to see them and then they want to put it on their Instagram feed and they snap a screenshot of 11:11 on their clock. And if it's on the 11th of the month, then it means even more. And yes, it does mean even more, but you're immediately diving into the flesh side of this recognition stops the messaging and disconnects you from where it's coming from. So, I mean, our guidance would be, let any of these patterns be a sign for you to slow down, go within, be calm, seek quality guidance, and then figure it out from there. I do want to say though, Kendra, a lot of people, and what's not on the sheet that we prepared for folks to download if they'd like it, is the number 0.
Oh,
and
yes. Tell us about it.
Very positive. Well, what did you, we've recently talked about 0. What's your impression of 0?
I've never really thought about it before, honestly. I guess I never really thought about it as a number.
Right. I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah.
So usually people think of it as a non-entity. It doesn't matter because it's 0, it's nothing.
Yeah.
But it's so much more than that. So if you have, 2 plus 0 is what?
2.
2 plus 0 is 2. Fantastic. So that means 0 is worth nothing. Or is 0, when you go to the numerology side of things, is 0 a placeholder for potential and possibility? Because if it was nothing, then it wouldn't have been there to begin with. You just would have had 2.
Right.
So it's the potential, the possibility. So when you're seeing number patterns, especially if they're dotted with 0s throughout the pattern, pay attention to the meaning of that number, download that guide that we have for you, and start to familiarize yourself with, like 8 means harmony, 3 is balance, 5 is change, those different themes. And then when you start to look at the themes where 0s are involved, I was seeing 2s and 1s and 0s, 2 1 0, 2 1 0, 2 1 0, 2 1 2 0 1 0 2 0, and that's duality, that's intuition and possibility and opportunity. So when you see a 0, think of an O for opportunity. You have possibilities there that require you to dive down into your own intuition and find, but they are all around you. And so 0s are actually, I think, the most magical number of all of them.
And we recommend journaling about this as well. So if you're seeing numbers, you can journal about how you feel when you see these certain numbers. When are you seeing them? Those types of things. So you can kind of see a pattern and see how maybe you're changing as a person, and it's part of your journey. So journaling these is important as well.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Well, if you have had any number patterns showing up in your life and you want to know what they mean, or if you have any comments about this, just open up the comments and ask us questions. We'll come back in, we'll answer them, and then we'll start a conversation about numbers and how they impact your life and how you can use them as a guide for you to grow and push your own personal reset button, which is what this is all about.